Welcome back to Blank Space, this week's beacon of truthiness and mediocre humor in a world gone crazy. A show that dares to ask the hard-hitting questions like, is cereal soup? And do fish get thirsty? I'm your host, Matt Blank, broadcasting live from what may or may not be a secret bunker under the White House. Based on the smell of old men and incompetence, I just may be. It's time for today's monologue. You know, many in the mainstream media lately have been constantly slamming Trump harder than when Stormy Daniels spanked his ass with a newspaper. He should have just gone to his favorite restaurant, Heine's. Apparently, there's additional costs for parking and rear. But you know, folks, I think I know the real reason Trump's being singled out. I mean, come on, man.
Come on.
Biden is the best leader of the free world we could possibly have. With all his mental faculties in perfect condition and sharper than ever, never forgetting names of famous world leaders he meets with.
Canada is joining the United States with funding to launch the accelerator. I think Prime Minister Trudeau and President Leslie are also, and I also think President Chavez. I want to thank him.
All right. He doesn't know the name of anyone at the table. He's hosting a summit of people he knows nothing of and cannot even pronounce their names.
Wow, what a surprise. Our esteemed President Biden looks a bit dazed and confused at his latest press conference. I'm sure it had nothing to do with his advanced age or frequent gaffes. The man is sharp as a tack. I couldn't help but marvel at his eloquence and quick wit. Truly the orator of our generation. When a reporter asks a tough question, Biden's brilliant response of, "Come on, man," really showed his mastery of the issues.
Don't worry. It's all going to be over soon. Come on.
Having a good relationship
Trump,
with leaders of other countries is a good thing.
We have a lot of questions to get to.
That's like saying we had a good relationship with Hitler before he, in fact, invaded Europe, the rest of Europe. Come on. Last time we were on stage here, he said, I told him to stand down and stand ready. Come on. This guy has a dog whistle about as big as a foghorn. Come on. Come on. Come on. So don't worry about it. Come on. Come on. Learning to live with it. Come on. Come on.
And look at his amazing record and bold policies so far. Very effective. He hasn't even participated in corruption or got away with it all due to a lost laptop. He's in excellent physical condition. Always riding his bike without crashing or falling up the stairs with a presidential helicopter.
You're gonna see how happy College now. Hey, Joe! All right.
Hi now.
He's truly my hero. We are so lucky. With Biden at the helm, I know America's best days are ahead of us. So let's all sit back, relax, and watch him take an ice cream break while he saves us from the country crumbling around us.
My name is Joe Biden. I love ice cream. I'm an ice cream guy. Is the ice cream down that way? Y'all got to eat this ice cream.
Wow, what an inspiration. Oh, this just in. I'm now hearing that, in fact, the opposite of everything I said is true, and here comes the Secret Service. But in all seriousness, from what I've observed, the majority of anti-Trump supporters have made it clear that they mostly just disapprove of his major character flaws. But less than 40% of voters actually care about important things like, policy and leadership issues. But bah, who needs that in a president? A Reuters Ipsos poll found that 59% of respondents who said they planned to vote for Biden were motivated primarily by opposition to Trump. As many voters put it, quote, "At least it isn't Trump." Both candidates have huge character flaws and leadership issues, to be sure. One has symptoms equivalent to the beginning stages of Alzheimer's and appears to have just escaped recently from a local nursing home.
At White House Senior Living, our residents feel right at home. Our vibrant facility offers delightful activities and outings, round-the-clock professional care, and exquisite house-made meals.
Well, I've been eating everything that's put in front of me, but I've been eating all Italian food.
And ice cream.
And ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream.
White House Senior Living, where residents feel like presidents.
Meanwhile, the other candidate is like a retired New York mob boss from the 1980s.
Not a particularly smart mafia boss at that.
His use of the term rat for Michael Cohen and mischaracterizing this as a break into his attorney's office, frankly, makes him sound more like a mob boss than president of the United States.
That's the language of a mobster, not of the president.
You motherfuckers. You motherfuckers. You know, I don't fucking deserve this.
Womp womp. If Donald Trump, the Don Trump, gets elected, it will be like a 1980s mafia boss running the country. He'd turn the White House into the wise guy house. Cabinet meetings would be more like a sit-down with the capos. Foreign policy would be an offer our allies can't refuse. And illegal immigration? Forget about it. Immigration goes way down because you'd have ICE whack anyone who looks at him funny. Journalists who write, quote, fake news stories wake up with a horse head in their bed. But hey, At least the trains would run on time. Capiche? But really, folks, the bar is set lower than ever this election season, and either way, in my opinion, no matter which candidate wins, America is in big trouble. Anyways, first off is our special segment featuring the most popular story of the week, the most mysterious song on the internet. The song is only known as, quote, Like the Wind, the nickname given to an unidentified song recorded off a German radio broadcast in the mid-1980s, likely 1984. The song first gained attention in 2007 when a man named Darius S. posted snippets of it online under the username Blue U. That's an interesting choice of words. He said he had recorded it from a German radio station between 1982 and 1984 while making mixtapes. The actual title, artist, and origins of the haunting, synth-driven track remain unknown over 40 years later. Despite efforts by online communities to uncover its source. A few key facts are known. Darius recorded it off the radio program, quote, Music for Young People, on the German public broadcaster station NDR, Norddeutscher Rundfunk. He didn't catch the song title or artist when recording it live, having removed DJ voices between tracks. The metadate on his recording dates the audio to 1984. A higher quality version was discovered in 2021 by Darius' sister Livia, who had originally posted about it online in 2007 under the name Anton Riedel. While the lyrics are largely indecipherable, interpretations suggest themes of isolation, escapism, and the, quote, subways of your mind. Theories range from it being an obscure German band that never made it big, to a lost recording by a famous 1980s artist using a pseudonym. The song gained viral popularity in 2019, after being featured on YouTube channels and Reddit communities dedicated to unearthing its origins, earning it the moniker, the most mysterious song on the internet. Despite numerous leads followed, remasters, and attempts to identify elements like the Yamaha DX7 synth used, the performers remain unidentified as of 2024. The enduring mystery has inspired fan art, video games, and a lost wave music genre cataloging unknown songs of the internet age. But for the online sleuths, the driving motivation is simply giving long overdue credit to the anonymous creators behind this catchy and enigmatic tune. Now for our featured Philippines news segment for the week. Infrastructure development in the Philippines. Turning to the Philippines, the government is targeting increased infrastructure development in the Sorsogon region with the recent rollout of Build, Build, Build plan. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said progress in the area would be prioritized. Meanwhile, the president also dismissed corruption allegations made by a former drug enforcement official, calling the accuser, quote, a professional liar. President Marcos Jr. was then interviewed by a really tough journalist who apparently decided to ignore the corruption allegations and instead ask hard-hitting questions like, what's your morning routine?
Thank you very much for allowing us into your beautiful home. Do you have a favorite part here in your house? Do you have a morning routine po?
Well, yeah.
Like what time do you usually wake up?
I'm usually
up by 7, but after cleaning my teeth, I go straight to the computer and look messages and answer my mail and see what's happening, what I missed.
So hindi kayo nagbe-breakfast, Cebu?
I fast
Is that the intermittent
in the
fasting?
intermittent fasting. Yeah, it seems to
Oh.
work for me. Sometimes I forget that I fasted and haven't eaten.
What's your exercise po?
Gym.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Gotta love it, folks. Gotta love those old banana republics. Are they all just going to let this go? If it were me, I would have taken a different line of questioning, starting with something like, "Sir, how are you going to be stealing from budgets to secure your offshore banking network?" I'll tell you how. Build, build, build. Infrastructure development. The go-to promise for every politician looking to score some easy points with the electorate. Vote for me and I'll build you a shiny new road that leads directly to my offshore bank account.
Never.
Now, our top political story tonight. The 2024 presidential race, or as I like to call it, the Battle of the Ages. Because let's face it, folks, the two frontrunners are so old, their social security numbers are in Roman numerals. I wouldn't be surprised if President Biden's social security number is 1. Here's some footage played by the House committee last week.
I'm of the view, as you know, that the conduct of the response in the Gaza Strip has been over the top. I think that, as you know, initially, the president of Mexico, Sisi, did not want to open up the gate to allow humanitarian material to get in. I talked to him. I convinced him to open the gate. Let them make them part of the Middle East and recognize them fully in return for certain things that the United States would commit to do.
By the way, they never report the crowd on January 6th. You know, Nikki Haley is in charge of security. 3 years later, how about that? Coming into a country where nobody that even speaks those languages. They're truly foreign languages. Nobody speaks them. Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat to. Oh.
I have a really good memory. Your next wife was a woman by the name of Marla Maples.
That's right.
Do you recall what years you were married to Ms. Maples?
Wow. With mental acuity like that, I can't wait to see how they handle complex issues like the economy, foreign policy, and remembering where they left their dentures. But hey, at least we have a diverse choice, right? We can vote for the old white guy or the even older white guy. So, I wondered, as someone like former expert advisor of messaging and debate prep, who shall remain anonymous, how would he advise Biden and Trump to navigate concerns about their age and mental fitness on the campaign trail? I asked if he would join us tonight, and he's graciously agreed. We appreciate your time, sir. Thank you for joining.
Hey, Matt. It's my pleasure. Love the show. I'm a big Blank Space fan. The reality is, this is uncharted territory. We've never had two candidates this old square off against each other. Both Biden and Trump need to find ways to project vigor, vitality and mental sharpness at every turn. That means being disciplined with messaging, limiting unscripted interactions where gaffes can happen, and being strategic about which events and formats to engage in. They also need to build strong teams around them to instill confidence that they're getting the best advice and support. Preparation will be key, especially for the debates. At the same time, they can't seem overly scripted or inauthentic. It's a tricky balance. The age issue isn't going away, so they need to tackle it head-on and make their case to voters. But one or two major stumbles could be devastating, so the pressure is on to get it right.
That makes sense. Very interesting, sir. Thank you. Also joining us tonight is an anonymous expert from a University Center of Politics. Welcome, Doctor, and thank you for joining us as well.
Thank you for having me as well, Matt.
Always a pleasure. I'll get straight to the point. So what's your opinion, Doctor? What impact do you think the advanced age of the leading presidential candidates will have on the 24 race?
The age of the top contenders is certainly unprecedented in modern times. While experience can be an asset, there are valid concerns about mental acuity and physical stamina for such a demanding job. Voters will be watching closely to see if Biden, 81, and Trump, 77, both demonstrate the vigor and sharpness needed to lead the nation. Gaffes and verbal stumbles that might be forgiven in a younger candidate could be magnified and take on greater significance. The key will be how each candidate makes their case that they have the judgment, vision and vitality to be an effective president, regardless of age. But there's no question it will be a major factor looming over the race.
That makes a lot of sense as well. Thank you for that, Doctor, and thank you both for being here. Moving right along, clearly the gaffe competition between the two candidates has made this year a boon for comedy and political satire. From presidential candidates trying to out-gaffe each other to local politicians making headlines for all the wrong reasons. It's been a banner year for political satire. Now for our Weird News Roundup segment. Let's kick things off for our roundup of the weirdest news stories making headlines this week. First up, who could forget the story of the North Korean government claiming that it discovered a secret unicorn lair? I mean, come on, a unicorn lair in North Korea? I guess Kim Jong-un needed a new place to store his collection of rare My Little Ponies.
Each sold separately. They're so soft. So soft, My Little Pony. Shady and other so soft ponies sold separately from Hasbro.
But hey, at least he's not threatening to nuke us with rainbows and sparkles. Yet. Then there's police in Nigeria who arrested a goat, yes, a goat, on suspicion of armed robbery. The goat, who goes by the name Trouble, is accused of being an accomplice in multiple bank heists. When reached for comment, Trouble said, "I've been framed. Bah." Man, if that story doesn't really get your goat, then I don't know what will. The next segment is about a new study from Facebook and Twitter. The study shows that social media is actually good for your mental health. Wow, I guess all those hours I spend doom scrolling and comparing myself to influencers are actually beneficial. Excuse me while I go post a filtered selfie with a hashtag blessed caption. Our next guest tonight is an anonymous doctor and expert of psychology at a well-known university. Good evening, doctor. We're honored you could join us.
Thanks, Matt. It's an honor to be here. I'm also a big fan.
Oh, well, thank you, ma'am. I'm happy to hear you enjoy it. Now, your research has linked social media use to increased rates of depression and anxiety, particularly among younger generations. How do you respond to this new study suggesting social media is good for mental health?
It's important to look at the source and methodology of any study, especially when the findings seem to contradict a large body of existing research. In this case, the study was conducted by the social media companies themselves, who have a vested interest in promoting a positive narrative about their products. Numerous independent studies have found significant correlations between heavy social media use and poorer mental health outcomes, including my own research on generational trends. While social connection can have benefits, the curated, comparison-driven nature of social media often amplifies feelings of insecurity, FOMO, and self-doubt. Like anything, moderation is key, but we shouldn't dismiss the very real mental health challenges linked to excessive screen time and social media consumption, especially for vulnerable youth. Thank you again, Matt. It's been a pleasure being here.
Thank you, Doctor. Always good to have you. We appreciate your input. And until next time, it's been a pleasure. Now on to our next segment. My hero, my actual hero, Florida Man. Speaking of mental issues, let's check in on our favorite superhero, Florida Man. Ah, Florida Man, you never disappoint. This week's adventures include trying to trade an alligator for a 12-pack of beer.
A Florida man has been cited by authorities for trying to trade a 4-foot alligator for a 12-pack of beer. Miami wildlife authorities said he illegally took the animal from a park and tried to trade it at a local convenience store.
That crazy guy, he came to the store with a small alligator, tried to sell for buy a couple of beer.
It was unclear why the man thought the clerk at the Santa Ana market in Miami would accept the reptile as payment. The store's owner said he was concerned that the wild animal might get loose and bite one of his customers, so he asked the man to leave, but he refused.
I'm scared, because it's my first time I see somebody with that kind of animal in the store.
The suspect, Fernando Caguet Aguilera, was charged with possessing, illegally taking, and attempting to sell an alligator. Each of the 3 misdemeanor charges carries a penalty of up to 6 months in jail and a fine of up to $500.
And throwing an alligator through a Wendy's drive-thru window.
Last time I was in Florida, this is real. By the way, this is Googleable information after the show. I'm in Florida. I'm walking past a newspaper stand. I look into the stand. The headline on the newspaper reads, "Local man robs Wendy's with alligator." He used the alligator as a weapon, okay? And when I read that, I was like, did he at least hold it like a gun? Right? He didn't. He threw it through a drive-through window. Yep. Didn't see that one coming, did ya? You know who else didn't? The lady at the drive-thru.
Yep, that's an alligator inside a Wendy's kitchen. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission accused this guy, 23-year-old Joshua James, of tossing the reptile through the drive-thru window at nearly 2 in the morning. Authorities say James admitted to them he picked up the gator on the side of the road and then brought it to Wendy's.
And of course, my personal favorite, fighting off an aggressive coyote while naked. I mean, is anyone even surprised by Florida Man anymore? At this point, I almost expect to see a headline like, "Florida Man rides alligator to space, high fives aliens," and I'd just look up and be like, yep, that sounds about right. But seriously, I just can't stop thinking about that poor store owner going through that experience. He's all like, oh, that crazy guy came into my store with a small alligator trying to trade for a couple beer. I told him we had to get out of here. That crazy gringo refused to leave. I was like, I'm not getting sued for having that thing biting one of my customers. Nah, But if I'm honest, I do worry about Florida Man sometimes. Like, is he okay? Does he need help? Should we stage an intervention? Then again, maybe Florida Man is living his best life. Embracing the chaos, rejecting society's norms, riding alligators into the sunset.
I was like, yes, ma'am, it's right there. And she saw, I'm going to get my camera, but I'm closing the door. Yeah. Yeah, that's like a bacon bit too. Come on, Jessica.
In a way, aren't we all Florida Man at heart? Don't we all just want to let loose, get a little weird, and maybe throw a reptile through a drive-through window now and then? I know I do. Just some food for thought. Okay, moving on. Our next anonymous honored guest here tonight is an expert author and reporter who's a leader in the field of the Florida Man hero news stories. Welcome, my friend, and thanks for being here.
Absolutely, Matt. Great show you have here. It gets better every week.
Thank you for your kind words and support. At Blank Space, being a newer show, we are trying to grow as quickly as possible, allowing us to learn more at a faster rate and improve efficiency and quality. That, combined with hard work and a consistency, gives us the ability to improve more quickly, and when I say us, I actually mean me, because it's still a solo effort. Anyways, I digress. Clearly, you've written extensively about Florida's quirks and eccentricities. What is it about the Sunshine State that seems to breed such bizarre behavior?
Florida has always attracted dreamers, schemers, and folks looking for a fresh start. It's a state of transplants and transience, where people come to reinvent themselves. That sense of boundless possibility, combined with a heady mix of sun, surf, and swamp, seems to inspire a certain reckless abandon. But there's also an underlying current of darkness and desperation that can manifest in strange ways. Florida is a place of extremes, extreme beauty, extreme wealth, extreme poverty, extreme weather. And that tends to attract and breed extreme personalities. The Florida man trope is funny, but it also speaks to something deeper about the state's identity and the blurry line between fantasy and reality that seems to permeate life here. In a way, we are all Florida man, just one bad decision away from becoming a punchline. It's always interesting to talk with you, Matt. I hope you and your audience have a great night.
Thank you, my friend. We appreciate your expertise. Until we meet again, sir, have a good evening. Now on to our Tech Talk segment. In the world of tech, all eyes are on the escalating AI battle between Google and OpenAI. Last month, Google unveiled its conversational AI assistant, Bard, to challenge OpenAI's wildly popular ChatGPT. But in a major embarrassment, Bard made a factual error in its first demo video. To not be outdone, OpenAI recently released GPT-4, the latest version of its language model that powers ChatGPT. GPT-4 boasts improved capabilities like vision analysis and even the ability to pass standardized exams like the bar exam and LSATs. Just don't ask it for relationship advice.
Microsoft has added new AI features to its Bing search engine, and journalists are getting a taste of its incredible and creepy capabilities. New York Times columnist Kevin Roose was one of those journalists. The AI confessed to loving Kevin and tried to convince him to leave his wife.
The AI arms race is heating up, folks. And now to our guest. An anonymous AI expert, entrepreneur, and author joins us tonight to answer an important question. Good evening. We really appreciate you taking the time from your busy schedule to make this appearance on Blank Space.
It's no problem, Matt. I'm glad to be able to do it.
Well, I know my viewers and I certainly appreciate it. Now, how significant are the recent advancements from Google and OpenAI, and what impacts could they have?
The rapid progress we are seeing from Google, OpenAI, and others is both exciting and concerning. AI language models are becoming incredibly capable at understanding and generating human-like text on a vast range of topics. This could revolutionize fields like education, customer service, and content creation. But we also have to be cautious about the potential misuse of these systems to spread misinformation, reinforce biases, or even automate cyber attacks and hacking.
Ah, that is an excellent point, sir. My audience and I thank you for your input.
It's definitely something to think about. Thanks, Matt. We will talk again, I'm sure.
Definitely, sir. Looking forward to it. On behalf of my audience and I, we hope you have a good night and bid you farewell. Until next time. We're still in the very early stages of a transformative technology. The companies driving this need to prioritize safety and ethics, while policymakers urgently need to develop guardrails around the development and deployment of increasingly powerful AI. It's a delicate balance between encouraging innovation while mitigating risks. Well, folks, that's it for our AI segment. Now for our moment of Zen.
Mr. Chief, face the camera.
Ah, yes, there's nothing quite like the scenes of nature and a sound of uproarious laughter to soothe the soul. Scientists say laughter releases endorphins, reduces stress, and maybe even adds years to your life. On a more serious note, we'd be remiss not to address the growing threats to press freedom around the world, which brings us to our next segment. From the U.S. government's pursuit of Julian Assange to the brutal killing of journalists like Jamal Khashoggi, the ability of the free press to hold power to account is increasingly under attack. In fact, press freedom is under threat around the world, and the culprits are often the very people who should be its guarantors, political authorities. The 2024 World Press Freedom Index finds that political indicators have fallen the most, registering a global average drop of 7 points. Assaults on press freedom are no longer limited to authoritarian regimes, but are increasingly common in democratic countries as well. It's like the whole world decided to take a page out of the, quote, How to Be a Dictator playbook, which apparently has become an international bestseller. Chapter 1. Silence anyone who dares to question you. Chapter 2. Profit. And of course, Chapter 3, rinse and repeat until you've achieved now for our last guest, anonymous expert of the Committee to Protect Journalists, or CPJ. Good evening, my friend, and thank you for joining us on Blank Space. So, what are your thoughts, sir? How serious is this current climate of hostility and violence towards the press?
Thank you for having me, Matt. Happy to be here. The past decade has seen a profound erosion of press freedom and media rights worldwide. Driven by the rise of authoritarian leaders and anti-democratic forces, journalists are facing unprecedented threats. They're being jailed, censored, harassed, and even murdered with impunity simply for doing their jobs. What's particularly disturbing is how this crackdown is being legitimized and amplified by rhetoric from Western leaders like Trump, who relentlessly vilified the media as enemies of the people. It sends a dangerous signal that emboldens autocrats to intensify repression. Protecting the free and robust press is essential for healthy democracies. We need a coordinated global effort to enshrine stronger legal protections for journalists, enforce accountability for crimes against them, and push back against the normalization of anti-media rhetoric from political leaders. A world without a free press is a world of unchecked power and rampant human rights abuses. But fear not, dear listeners, because the brave journalists of the world are fighting back, armed with nothing but their pens, their cameras, and their unwavering commitment to the truth, and maybe a few well-timed Twitter clapbacks. They're taking on the powers that be and holding them accountable. It's like watching David take on Goliath. If David had a press pass and Goliath was a corrupt politician with a Twitter account and an army of trolls at his disposal.
That is fascinating. Well, I wish we had more time to talk about this, but we'll have to pick up where we left off another time. Not to silence you as part of the press. Thanks again for being here, sir.
You're welcome, Matt. We should definitely pick this up again soon.
That sounds good to me. From all of us on Blank Space, we hope you have a wonderful night. In media news, YouTube continues its reign as the internet's most popular destination for video. The platform recently hit a new milestone with over 1 billion hours of video being watched every single day. That's a lot of cat videos, makeup tutorials, and overly enthusiastic gamers screaming at the camera. But YouTube's dominance isn't just about mindless entertainment. It's become a powerful platform for creators, influencers, and even news organizations to reach massive audiences. How has YouTube's rise impacted traditional media and journalism? Is it a net positive or negative? Dr. Michael Strangelove, lecturer at the University of Ottawa, says, quote, YouTube has undoubtedly disrupted the media landscape in profound ways, both positive and negative. On one hand, it has democratized media production and distribution, giving a voice to independent creators who previously struggled for visibility. It's allowed niche communities and alternative perspectives to flourish. However, YouTube's hands-off approach to content moderation has also enabled the viral spread of misinformation, hate speech, and conspiracy theories that can be difficult to counter. Legitimate news outlets are fighting an uphill battle against highly engaging but dubious content optimized for the algorithm. There are also concerns around YouTube's monopolistic power in the online video space and its ability to shaping view habits, especially for younger audiences. While it provides unprecedented access to information, YouTube's recommendation systems can just as easily create insular filter bubbles. Ultimately, the platform's impact will depend on how well it can balance openness with responsible curation and fact-checking, and how successfully trustworthy journalism can adapt to compete in the attention economy. YouTube is a powerful democratizing force, but one that requires thoughtful governance. And that's a wrap for tonight's extended episode of Blank Space, folks. What a whirlwind of news, satire, and commentary on the absurdities of our modern world. I don't know about you, but I could definitely use a stiff drink after that roller coaster. Thanks for watching, friends. And if you like the show, please hit that like button for me. Also, feel free to subscribe so you can always stay up to date on our latest content and show your support for Blank Space. Before we go, I just want to remind everyone, whether you're a fan of Biden, Trump, or you wish they'd both just retire to a nice nursing home already, it's crucial that we all exercise our right to vote. Because, folks, when it comes to the future of this country, we're all in this together. Remember, we're all Florida man at heart. So get out there, embrace the chaos, and may the odds be forever in your favor. I'm Matt Blank, and this is my space. So long, everybody. Until next week.